Here's the beginning of making homemade Italian tomato sauce. I don't know if you can see that in here. It's actually 2, 4, there's one back there, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15 bushels of tomatoes. They all need to be washed before anything else, so probably going to be washing them before Friday, and then Friday we're going to be making the tomato sauce. Hopefully I can film that for you. There's some tomatoes here. They've all been washed. So got the burners here. I don't know if you can see that. 2 burners. We got some propane tanks coming. Brother-in-law Petey's getting them filled tonight. That there, hot, baby. That's the kind of pot you need to make tomato sauce. Inside that lid. What's happening out here? Got some garlic cloves here being undone. Cuando ne fa pa? There we go. Smells good. Okay, that celery is pretty ripe. You can see that. No problems there. It's all going to be cooked. So there we go, carrots and celery. My dad's actually peeling garlic to get in there. And I'm going to do the onions. Here we go. I think maybe a bag of these will do it too. My dad bought 2 of everything just in case. But we'll see how it goes. You can use any kind of onion you want. I think these are the sweet yellow onions. They're not that powerful. We actually eat the onions from my dad's yard fresh. So and they're a little bit smaller, a lot more time and stuff to deal with. So we decide to actually go out and buy these onions, even though we have like 200 of my dad's onions from his garden, another 100 at my house. But makes it a little bit easier. And obviously you can see that already it's very time consuming. I didn't show you the tomato washing process. My brother and brother-in-law were here early and they got that done yesterday. 15 bushels, you got to touch every single tomato. You put it in a big tub. About a bushel fits in the tub, and you just make sure they're relatively clean, no dirt on them. Remember, everything's going to get boiled anyway, but you don't want gritty dirt in your sauce. I think we're going to chop those up into smaller bits so that it's easier to deal with. And then in the morning we'll put it in the food processor rather than mixing it up right now in the food processor. You want to kind of do that last chop at the end, I think. But then again, I could be wrong, because what do I know? When I was young, I actually didn't really take to doing this sort of stuff, so I didn't pay attention. And now I'm catching up. So I'm taking you with me. Bringing out the big gun to get these carrots done a little quicker. Much quicker. Five at a time with that knife, but I can tell you one thing, you can't make a mistake with this knife or you're in trouble. Trouble. Okay, so preliminary prep work. Basil, washed, drying out. Parsley, washed, drying out. Carrots, onions, celery, that's like 6 massive onions, a whole bag of carrots, 1 whatever sprig of celery, and garlic, lots of garlic. See all that, right? Of course, while I'm working, I gotta have myself a little bone shaker. By the way, they're not my sponsor yet. Hey, impeccable timing. I just finished cutting everything and putting it away. I'm just on my way home. Your timing is a ball. Who's here with you?
Peter, he's just unloading jars.
Oh, look. Some jars are arriving. I'm sure you can't see me because it's too dark, but there's my brother-in-law, Pete, bringing in jars because we all take jars all year, and eventually they got to come back here to get filled again. Okay, Pete.
Yeah.
What time tomorrow? Don't come too early.
Chingo means. What do you think?
7 o'clock, 7:30. I don't want anything to start without me because I need to do some filming.
You tell me.
I need to.
Tell me when I'm going to be on YouTube.
No.
Tell me when I'm going to be a YouTube star.
Well, you're going to be a YouTube star. Hold on. Let's get his face in here. There we go. You're going to be a YouTube star.
There you go.
Probably when we make something interesting.
Sure. Okay.
But our fishing video is going to be up soon. But this will be after the fishing video. But don't come too early, and if you start anything, at least take video with your...
My phone.
Yeah, don't start.
Can I post on YouTube before you post this?
Yeah. Okay, well, it's 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm getting to my dad's house and get these tomato sauce done. We're gonna bring over these jars, and I'm pretty sure that my aunt is already gonna be there. I'm trying to be her there. So,
Before you start, you better some coffee.
I had coffee ready, but...
Okay, well, I'm going to Okay, yeah.
good morning.
Okay. If you want more coffee, I got in the thermos, okay? I bring everything from home. I got a perfect story.
Wine.
That's what I said.
Hey, don't.
I knew I'd find her here
No,
too.
listen to me. No, I want to be in the position for more than a name. That's what it's going to be. Yes or no?
Almost.
Uomo je almeno je blu.
Ok. Questo è come cacciamo il pomodoro che fra poco sono
Oh, you already got some in there.
Fra poco sono cuoci.
The beginning of the process. My Uncle Sal, he's just giving them a slice there. Non c'è assai semente, sai così caccia. Just giving them a slice, and then they're going to end up in here. And that'll be part of the process. Okay, here we go. We're going to answer that question whether it was a good idea to leave the food processing till the morning.
Io mi preparo tutta la sera, chissà, to.
Shit, man. Oh, there it is. My aunt just said she preps everything the day before so that it makes the morning easier. Okay, note to self. So onions and garlic go together,
Yes, in the oil.
and they will be sauteed in the oil before any sauce is put in, any tomatoes are put in. My aunt right now is food processing the onions and garlic. I had done some yesterday, but apparently we didn't do enough. So there's the onions and garlic, all food processed. Man. Now, there's some of that stuff I chopped up yesterday. We're going to put that in the food processor as well. So, a couple of things. One, my Aunt Maria, you'll see her often because she's always here helping us out, whether it's sauce or sausage. I don't know if she's been here for wine, but
No
You'll-
for wine, no for wine.
not for wine. That's but she's always here helping us out. She's been with us ever since I can remember. I remember my Aunt Maria. So she says that she doesn't have actual measurements. She does it as she's doing it. She can tell whether she's putting in too much or too little. So I'm going to say that we're going to do half of those 15 bushels prepared, and it's the prepared sauce that needs all this stuff inside it. So let's say 7 bushels will take 10 nice onions. Quando garlic abbiamo fatto? Mi penso che
Una decina forse, poriccione.
10 heads of garlic. This being a head, right? So 10 of these. I used 1 bag of carrots. You can use more, but you gotta watch because it will change the color of the sauce if you use too many. Same with parsley and same with basil. So we have the parsley, the basil, the carrots, and celery now being food processed separately because that's going to go in after the onions and garlic are sauteed in the oil. The sauce will go in there next, and then this stuff goes in after the sauce is already, or after the tomatoes are already in.
Sedano e da cosa c'ha paura. Ma capito, Tony?
Yep. So, not only should you wash the parsley and basil the day before so it's not all wet, but my aunt says if you add some other stuff like the carrots and celery, as we're doing here, into the food processor, it makes it a lot easier for everything to actually get mulched properly. There you go. Ooh, smells so good.
Giusto, non dica la macchina di... Immagina che sono se gestiscono poche salse, parte ho fatto la salsa fresca per mangiare oggi.
By the way, my aunt always does lunch on these days. We're going to use some fresh sauce, some lamb,
Yes.
and some
And then...
sausages that we've made.
Magari hai portato salsiccia, già cucinata, hai fantasia. Voi vi faccio un piatto che ripeto, non fate mai mangiare. Non fate mai
Okay, my aunt doesn't need me here anymore. My dad's stirring up the tomatoes. This is after they've been diced over there. And over there, you'll see Pete, my brother-in-law over there, getting it done. I'm going to go help here in a moment. Once they come out of here, they go into this thing. This is just one of those baskets. To drip a little bit, get all the excess water out of them. Here we go. There's one right there. You can see the excess water dripping out. Okay, so the first boil is about 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Nothing here is actually measured or precisely calculated. They actually just look and see, you know. So you'll feel the tomatoes that getting a little softer. I guess you might almost call it a little bit more than blanched on the first time around.
Tony, you know I have a face for radio, not TV, right?
We all have a face for radio.
Yeah, sí. Pero digo, son las fascinadas.
That part is, you got your face for radio, but not the voice.
I want my voice to sound
Hey, Antonio, you can be the cameraman. You can take it around and do whatever you want with it. I'm going to show you how to use it, okay? And look at the red light. Is it flashing on and off?
Yep.
There you go. You're recording. So, that's your job. So then we can say produced, edited, and filmed by Tony Bianco. Tony Bianco and Tony Bianco Productions. Antonio Bianco and Tony Bianco. Ironically,
What?
you're the Italian one.
TV production?
Yeah, I really like stop, drop, and roll productions, but somebody...
So Antonio, now you're recording. Are you going to add some commentary to your video? Are you going to talk about what we're doing? Are you going to explain to people what you're recording at right now?
Oh, Nono's asking for some help. What does he want? I wonder. What is it he wants?
Why are you just filling up the buckets?
We're washing them because the first pass tomatoes are going to go in there, and then they're going to go through that machine. Okay. Uncle Tony likes to have a couple of these. It makes the day go by a little bit more pleasant. Here.
How long have you been doing this? So Tony, how long have you been doing this?
I've been doing this for
Like,
51 years. My mommy and my daddy have been doing this for a long, long time, and I always helped. I just never paid attention. So now I'm documenting it so we can all learn how to do it together.
no,
I
like,
always help. Always help.
like,
Like this is the See that? Did you film that? No, you didn't. Good going. You're a real Tony. You are a Tony. Cuba? Okay. Got it? Woo!
I can get that one. I got that one.
You got that one?
Yeah.
That's exactly like a good Tony would do.
Like a big film.
Hey, what do we know about filming? We don't know anything. We didn't go to school for filming.
That's right.
We're just trying to teach YouTubers. You need these where you want them on a clean surface.
Nothing like using an old wooden leg from a coffee table.
It's called the persuader. It persuades tomatoes to become sauce.
No, I don't need those.
Okay, here we go. Quick update. You've seen all this happening. All these are now going into this machine. It's going to come out here, and then they're going to go into jars. What do you think, Undo? Of course, once it comes out of here, we put it in here to drip out for a little while. You can see that Uncle Sal and Pete are still working on the 15 bushels, cutting them in half before they go in here, and then from here into the strainer, from the strainer into here. It's going to go into this clean bucket.
Instead of explaining it,
And
why don't
then-
you do it?
That's my little brother. Yeah, he's the one that does all the work around here. I just film shit, you know. It's
No, but you get still.
I'll hear the end of it.
Okay,
Okay, bud, I'm gonna try to set it up so you can do it. Alright?
all right.
Let me move stuff
Yeah,
around.
he's
No, no, over here.
enthusiastic now, but a couple of years from now, he's gonna be like, "Oh man, I got shit to do with
many
my
years?
friends.
How many
I
years from
can't." Couple.
How about 5 minutes from now?
Okay, 5 minutes or a couple of years. It's gonna like, oh man, I got other stuff to do. I gotta work. Oh,
Over to this side, Tony. Come over to
that
this
was
side.
me.
All can be moved back over there, but you're gonna be pushing. I think this is good. Alright, go. That was the one problem that we had last year. Huh? Remember how we solved this one last year?
smell the garlic. Cooking.
That smells
What?
good.
She's doing it inside already?
Smells good, eh?
She's cooking it inside?
Yeah, that's odd. Doesn't she usually do it
Yeah,
over?
it's what they don't do.
Seconda passata? È pulito.
Why isn't Pete doing this heavy lifting?
He's cutting tomatoes.
Because the tomato cutter started videography.
I suffer for my art. I suffer for my art.
Pay $7
Pa?
Did you hear what he said? What'd you say, Pete?
Penso che c'è la mexicana quando ti malora insieme a Cristo,
Okay,
penso che si fa.
That's what he's saying.
How are you gonna make sauce with that, Dad?
Well, there's still juice in here, and this is where the thick taste comes from.
See, so what he did is you took that pail and you put it back in.
Yeah.
He took the pail of this chuck, show this, took the pail of this chuck and passed it through yet again, which means we're getting as much out of the tomatoes as we can, right? And eventually it comes out to a dried, and that's garbage.
Pour it in.
E poi perché mi ha fatto questa macchina rossa? Io voglio non fanno tutto questo lavoro, no. Ma
Yeah, as the sun comes out, Antonio, there's going to be more and more of those wasps, so be careful.
Oh, now I've got the camera.
I got one telling me it's too watery, the other one telling me it's too thick.
Yeah, we're gonna just recorded it from last year. Or 2 years ago.
Antonio, arrivo zio.
No, non sempre, c'è un po' di cose, poi quando fai con l'acqua con il fuoco il punto lì si spacca.
Now 2 buckets are done. That's the second bucket done.
See, now we put that on there and no wasps get in there. Coffee? Woohoo! I'm in. I said it before I even got here. I'm trying to
that.
You know where to dump that. We took you there earlier, remember?
Yeah.
Get her done. Pete's taking those out and putting them into strain. Of course, we've gone through this a few times. They go from there to here. To here. And eventually into these jars. And you'll see that too. You should see how serious this guy is about his work. Look, that's the first smile he's cracked in the last half hour. Hey, and you're missing a tooth too, man. We're exactly the same, just he's got more hair.
Same tooth
and everything.
But his is gonna come back.
Yeah, so is mine for about $2,000. I'm getting my teeth back. Never takes to talk about money. The Italian way. We'll let it down.
How do you say that in Italian?
Sto parlando la cosa nostra.
Yeah, I don't get that.
You don't? Well, you're gonna have to watch The Godfather 1 and The Godfather 2 when we do it with your daddy. What? Okay, just like any good Italian crew, my brother's on his phone, my dad and my uncle are having a seat. I'm joining them, and we're down to just one person working. That's Pete here. We're calling it a break, but I think it's just the way to stretch the workout, right? Are we all getting paid by the hour? Antonio's over there eating more fennel. I told you, that stuff's good, eh?
Yeah, I told her.
So, an actual update is that we're still waiting for some tomatoes to boil, and the process is just kind of in the in-between stages. We're about halfway done. Yeah, maybe not even, but we're getting there. Okay. And just to be clear, Ando, this isn't child labor, right? You want to do this, don't you? Can't be child labor because we're not paying them anyway. Okay, here we go. These are all the jars we're gonna fill.
That's okay, put it. Leave those ones there. Put the red.
My brother's
Put the red
still
on top of the red. Put that one back
getting
where it was.
that done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Still one more bushel, so 15 bushels turns into about 6 of these pails, yeah, bro?
6 or 7 probably.
Yeah, 6 or 7 pails. And there's more jars. Of course, me and Antonio brought the jars out, and then my dad said, "Did you get all the jars?" And we said, "Yes, we did." But my dad said, "Come with me." And you know what? He found more jars. Of course he did. And down to the end of the first mash. And of course, there's still tomatoes boiling. And the next step is going to be to get them into these jars. Quite a few jars. Okay. Getting this cleaned up here to use for the prepared sauce. The first boiling is done. Half of them we're gonna just jar, and the other half we're gonna make prepared sauce with, and we're gonna show you that process too. More than that. More, all of it, Pete. Two touching the botella. Get a couple of thin rocks or pieces of wood. Shake it, give it a nice little stir, Pete. Over here, let's see it. Oh. So we've added the onions and garlic to the olive oil. Make sure you use olive oil.
Can you tell me? I know. We're going to see maybe 2 or 3, I think, now.
Okay, so the tomatoes that have been washed, cut, boiled, and passed through this machine are now in these pails, and they're going to go into this big ass pot with olive oil, onions, and garlic. And the one thing you're missing is the smell around here is amazing. Oh, I'm hungry. Yeah? I saw it. I found it too.
Okay, everyone has to stay away though. Don't put your hand in there.
No. Okay, va, bien.
Everyone stay away. Yeah. One more pail or no?
Yeah.
Here's the beginning of making homemade Italian tomato sauce. I don't know if you can see that in here. It's actually 2, 4, there's one back there, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15 bushels of tomatoes. They all need to be washed before anything else, so probably going to be washing them before Friday, and then Friday we're going to be making the tomato sauce. Hopefully I can film that for you. There's some tomatoes here. They've all been washed. So got the burners here. I don't know if you can see that. 2 burners. We got some propane tanks coming. Brother-in-law Petey's getting them filled tonight. That there, hot, baby. That's the kind of pot you need to make tomato sauce. Inside that lid. Carrots through the food processor, and that's what my aunt's adding right now.
How long is this video been going for?
Ma dopo quando si gira, sai con sì, e quindi demoro un attimo,
Okay, we're putting in a little bit at a time. Once we give it a stir, we can actually judge how much is in there and what the color is going to be like.
Oh, that's pretty weird.
You can see there she's added another liter of oil. She's the chemist here. She knows what it all needs and what viscosity it's got to be at.
take a look at the levels of the sauces right now compared to when we're done. How much it's going to reduce.
This level here.
Yeah. So when we're done, I bet you it'll drop.
Oh yeah, it'll drop. It's gonna be a while. How long does this stay on for? See,
It's
sì. È chiesto quando ci rimane mo.
Una ora, e lì è poco. Una ora che boiono è ok. Che gioco ma non è cucinato. E poi cavo già pure i boccati.
Okay, so we've already boiled the tomatoes once. Now this is for the prepared sauce. We've added all the condiments, and this is going to be on the burner for about an hour. So, and of course, after it goes into jars, it's going to be on boiling water for another 20 to 40 minutes, and about a day in a hot jar and hot water to finish the process and seal the jars.
You want me to turn down or no? Okay, this is for Ziotoni. I had to make sure the camera's rolling. There's no guarantees in this world, ever. But I'm gonna make you one guarantee right now. It's like 11:54. Within 5 minutes, as soon as I open this beer, Patricia will be here. That's my guarantee.
And it's too early for beer, but I'm gonna have another one of these bad boys.
You know what? We're gonna be quando hanno messo tutta la salsa nei boccacci.
Che non sapeva che fumasse, ma non fumavate di fronte.
Arriva a notte, altri dopo figli qua, c'è la gente che
Okay, I'm going to explain to you. My uncle here is one of the few people that we know that can start a fire with rock and some brush. Not only can he start a fire that way, as a young buck, when he worked on the farm with my dad, he actually lit his cigarettes that way. So he's pretty proficient. Guardate tenevi quando via sta dorme era fatto. Quindi
in the field, when in the farm, under the stars. Tell ya? Tell ya? No, I was younger than that. What else do you know? It was around 12 or 13.
so while these guys were young, Joe Daddy, No, and Uncle Sal, they worked on the farm quite a bit, and when they were like 15, they would spend entire nights under the stars, sleeping, because they had to get up so early the next morning to tend to the farm. It was not worth it going home, so they'd make some food out there, they'd cook, have a drink, have something to eat, sleep out under the stars, and start the whole process again in the morning. These guys, show them both, are over here, are real men. This sauce is all ready.
Hold on a second, hold on.
Oh, hold on. Make sure. That's preparing the big steel barrel to boil the jars here. We put some cloth inside so that the jars, once they boil, don't rattle against each other and break. We're gonna fill that bad boy up with water, start these propane tanks up again, and start the final process. Okay, we're still processing the last little bit of tomatoes. Of course, we're still boiling the prepared sauce. The unprepared sauce is right here, and it's already going into jars, getting sealed, and eventually those sealed jars will go into this big bin and that big bin over there. We'll start up the burners again and do a quick boil that seals the jars and make sure that no bacteria or anything grows inside them. Very important. Okay, here's the final step of the process. Jars that have been cooked and filled, these are not prepared. They have nothing in them, just tomato. My dad's putting them in there. Slowly we're going to fill this thing up with water. It's already on. You can hear that. See the flame down there? Probably not, because the flame's like pure propane flame. You can see he's putting them in there meticulously and all standing up. So, as you can see, the whole process is still almost from beginning to end, all still in progress at different stages here. There's 2, 4, 6 of us, 6 3/4. We're going to count Antonio as 3/4. He's actually putting the lids together now. Actually, what am I talking about? He's the actual full Antonio. I'm the 3/4. Since I'm the one filming. So you can see there's a little bit of a process here. We're going to compare this actually to buying sauce at the grocery store and see which one is more efficient. Okay, here's the prepared sauce. It's been on here for about 45 minutes, probably going to be on here for another 15 minutes or so. I'm trying to make sure it doesn't get stuck to the bottom and burnt. Okay, the hardest work
Is washing.
is cleaning everything up. So as they start finishing stuff, you got to clean stuff up because it's got to be clean for next year. So you got to make sure to do a good job. So we're done with the sausage making machine that
Sausage.
purifies or pasteurizes or processes all the tomatoes. We're done with that bad boy. And now we're doing a little bit of cleanup. Uh-oh. Uncle Tony lost that little scrubby somewhere down there. Okay, here, a little update. There's the one drum full. The prepared sauce is still on simmer. This is the unprepared sauce. It's going to boil for at least 20 to 40 minutes. Get those jars sealed, and we're on our way. Sister Pat, my wife Pat, have both joined us. Of course, the whole process is still going on. We're one step removed from done, which is the original boiling of the tomatoes. Actually, 2 steps. We've washed them, boiled them all. We've pasteurized them all. So 3 steps from done. We're just filling the jars now.
So we can get some better.
And in the unprepared sauce, what do we do in the unprepared sauce? How many leaves of basil do you add to each jar, guys? Dad said a couple.
About this much.
Okay. Okay. So, a couple of leaves of basil in every jar of unprepared sauce. Remember, when you use this sauce, you're going to be cooking it a little longer than the prepared sauce, which is going to be completely prepared. All you got to do with that stuff is heat it up. Okay, here we go. Update. We got the prepared sauce off the burner. It's right here.
Okay, bro, you're on that side now?
Probably half
Okay.
of all the bushels, which was 15. Let's say this is 7 or 7.5 bushels. My brother thinks this is funny because he knows what he's doing. He doesn't realize that YouTube wants to know how. And later, we're going to actually make pasta from scratch too, right? Actually, I'm only kidding.
We don't want to overwhelm
him
everybody.
and my brother-in-law Pete actually know how to make pasta from scratch. I don't know, they use some sort of flour and water and stuff. But here we go. Here's the prepared sauce. This sauce, once it goes into the jars and gets boiled in that blue bin over there, is going to be ready to go. All you got to do is heat it up and pour it over whatever you want. It's amazing. Okay, as the cool part of our video, my little nephew Antonio has the Under Armour. That seems to be a staple for all YouTubers. You got to wear Under Armour apparel. And there it is. There's the Under Armour. We're not sponsored by Under Armour, by the way, right? Not yet. Are we going to get a sponsorship from them? Hopefully.
Antonio, want to clean another big pot at the home?
Yep. Sure does. Quick update. Still filling up the jars with pre-made sauce. And just tomato sauce is already done and getting ready to boil here. There you go. You can see that's pretty hot. Okay, final update. We've done a little bit of cleanup. My brother's doing some of the last cleanup. There's one barrel. There's the other barrel. One is prepared sauce and one is unprepared sauce. They're gonna boil for about 40 minutes to an hour and a half. The prepared sauce is gonna be boiling for a lot less than the unprepared sauce. They're all in jars, of course, and eventually the burners will be turned off. We'll let them cool in their barrels and put them back in the boxes and into our fruit cellar. You'll see that too. There's all the cleanup stuff. Here we go. We're going in for lunch. That's not true, YouTube. We're never out of beer. We always have a bone shaker available.
Ti vado a sonare forse un poco.
Ci vuole per
Hey, thanks for the help. Give me a big one.
anche di me alla griglia,
To make you a star, buddy.
Bye, I'm going to my house.
Antonio and my brother Bruno are on their way. They helped out a lot. Mwah! Thank you very much.
How we doing?
Are you sure?
Thanks for the help.
Oggi ci credo che sono con cosa se ti fa.
No, già hanno mangiato loro, sì.
Ok.
Ciao. Grazie.
Baci.
Salve.
Fatemi che faccio.
Can you grab my shoes?
Little update here. We still got both those pots boiling. We've already had lunch and they're both still boiling. Have a good one. Safe drive home.
Ma tu senti Antonio, vado a gridare altro po'.
I think my sister's making fun of me. She's saying that I'm yelling. Now my dad said I screamed and I hurt his ears. He's got like the state-of-the-art hearing aids that he never ever wears, and I gotta yell all the time. Now he's making fun of me, throwing me under the bus.
Ok, sì. Allora, tra l'altro dottor, abbiamo già calato, abbiamo mangiato, abbiamo spezzato il tutto. Comunque, diciamo che venerdì me ne faccio un po'.
Thank you for the
Zia Maria capisce tutto.
Okay, I understood.
Okay. Bye-bye.
We'll see you again soon. Yeah, you got everything, Maria. You got everything.
Okay, little update. What are you doing, Pete? Taking the jars out
Taking
of
jars
prepared
These are all
sauce?
done. These have been boiled for 20 minutes, 5 hours.
I think he means 5 hours, 20 minutes.
Well, it should be 20 minutes, but it seems like 5 hours.
No, it doesn't matter how long you really boil them, as long as you don't, cook them and burn them. What you're doing here is actually sealing the jar. This is what preserves the whole organic material, right? You have to preserve the organic material, whether you put salt in it or not. This one is prepared and it has all kinds of salt and other things in it: celery, garlic, onions, carrots. But the other stuff here, which I'll just move out of their way. This stuff here is hot, and it's just tomatoes. There's no salt, there's no preservatives in here. The only thing that's keeping that edible for a year, two, probably 5 or 10 years if you do it right, is the fact that you're boiling it, you're taking all the oxygen out of the jars and sealing them. Once they're sealed, they're preserved and they're not going bad. We keep them in our fruit cellar, which is at usually a constant temperature, of course, colder in the winter, a little bit warmer in the summer, but not really, because the way you build a cantina is with dirt on at least 3 sides, which keeps it a little bit cooler. As you see, it's not an easy job. It's now, what time is it? 4 o'clock? 4:30? And we're still at it. We still have all these jars here to actually cook for at least 20 to 40 minutes. These ones we're taking out right now. They're going to cool down and they're ready to go. That's prepared sauce, or what we like to refer to as mixed golden, right? You can pour it on anything within 5-10 minutes. It's warmed up. Pour it on anything and it tastes amazing. Italiano, Canadian style. Wow. Okay, tightening up the lids and putting them away in their boxes. They're gonna go into the cantina, and it's gonna be sauce for the year. It's like almost 5 o'clock. We started at, well, I started at like 10 after 7. My aunt and uncle were already here. My dad already had water boiling, tomatoes on. So they probably started a half hour before that, 6:30 or so. It's almost been 12 hours. I don't know, 3, 6, 9, 12, 24, 48. It's gonna be about 100 and something jars of tomatoes, probably about 150. Made 2 different ways, but it's a lot of work. It's inexpensive if you don't add in your time. But it's always fun to be part of the tradition and to eat some great food. Love it. This is the new pot of tomatoes going on. It'll be on there for at least 40 minutes to an hour and a half or 2 hours, depending on how hot we can get this burner. And that's the end. That's all of it. We're going to eventually put all these in the cantina. Still some in there. Ooh, whole pot full. It's a lot of work. We're going to do a side-by-side comparison of making them and buying them. I hope you enjoyed this video. And eating them.